One more time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you all so much for coming. We are still expecting a few more, so I'll keep the door open maybe a little less. So are you all cold? No cold? You're comfortable? Okay. First of all, on behalf of Hasmukh Prabhu, Lakshman Prabhu and myself, we welcome you all today for celebrating the 70th anniversary celebration. We also call it as the Vayasa Puja Smarana. So let's give a big shout out to Maharaj. Hari Bol! Maharaj ki. So this is not a Vyasa Puja, but it is a Vyasa Puja Smarana. Because as you all know, his Vyasa Puja was on Ekadasi on the 15th. And we are doing this as a special celebration called Festival of Gratitude. So the idea is to bring together the entire, it's not like a disciple festival, it's more like a celebration of a senior devotee of Iskcon's life, so that, what he has done to this movement and your interactions with him. So we'll have different devotees, our god brothers, god sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, everyone can do that. So we have representative from different groups. So we want to, on behalf of the disciples, we are all very, very overwhelmed for this response. I'm still expecting a few more disciples or devotees to come, but we want to be on time. We don't want to make the program delay. So that's why we are doing this. So before I do anything, I want to give to Arshad and Lakshman, who have been the host committee. So I'll have them say a few words. Oh, Jai Govardhan, come on. Okay.
I haven't really done anything.
That's okay. Yeah, I'm going to have Hasmukh Prabhu say something.
Hare Krishna, everybody. On behalf of our team, I thanks everybody for coming and participating in today's program to honor Gurumaharaj's 70th birthday. Also, I know a lot of people have traveled long too, so we try to keep the program in time. So, Hari Bol.
He's shy. Okay, so before we begin, I'm just going to kind of give you logistics and the program and how it will go. So can someone make the door a little less cold so people don't get cold breeze? What I wanted to tell you is, first the logistics. The restrooms are right behind you. The boys are on the right, girls' restroom on the left. And there's plenty of chairs there, so if anybody don't find chairs, we'll give you some chairs. Just see one of the members here, one of us three. There are some chairs over there. And also, from a program perspective, we will have disciples, the God brothers, God sisters say a few things, their interaction. Basically, you are sharing. This is not like the typical Vayasa puja where you give a homage and no, it is more about your interaction with someone like Jayapataka Maharaj and what way he has touched you, or what does he inspire you, and in your life, or he's a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and so your personal interaction and stuff like that we want to hear. So we are going to do that for the next hour and a half, 2 hours. While the offerings are going on, or people want to say, we have the special offerings there that people have brought, that we will go ahead and offer that, and we also have lots of prasadam in the back. We'll have some people who will handle that, and then we'll do the offering. While the offering is going on, we'll continue quietly. I expect those who are helping to arrange that to do that quietly while we continue the program, multitasking. Okay? Yeah. Then right after that, we'll have arti, and we have some flowers to offer. We're not going to do Pushpanjali ceremony. That is all, that all you'll do is you can walk one at a time, just come here while Artik is going on, offer your flowers, and then after the Arti, right after the Arti, we want to go ahead and serve prasadam. So I think our idea is to have prasadam by 8:30 served so that you can have enough time to eat. And then what I am requesting some devotees, and I have talked to some people privately also, this is a public place, clubhouse, not my house. So I need some help to kind of put these things, clean it up basically. So if anybody would like to help, in the end, I'm requesting you to help. I think I have volunteered Parampara Prabhu already. Anybody else, please help, stay back, clean it up, because the clubhouse has got all these furniture we moved. It has to be back in place. So that's one thing I'm having request. So having said that, did I miss anything? Right? Nothing. So next week we have another program that Lakshman is doing, Kirtan Mela. I think he has already sent the invitations to everyone. Please attend, and that's somewhere I think in Duluth, but it's on Saturday and Sunday. So he is trying to do this Kirtan Mela every year, and now he wants to do this next year in this place. Haribo. Okay, so before,
I don't know if it's appropriate to announce this, but I'd like to. H.G Mahaguna wants to have a program at his farm that he bought in June. So I'm just letting everybody know in advance because he wants everybody to come up to Atlanta for it. So it's just another, opportunity for us to associate together and to see, his amazing property. He's very peaceful. He's building a whole, guest residences that people can come to eventually. So
thank you. Thank you so much.
When in June is it going to be?
we don't know yet, but
He's going to announce it on Atlanta Arena. Okay, so having said that, let's go ahead and do one thing. Before we begin the offerings part or the people, we'll call out different folks. We will have a chair here for Srila Prabhupada disciples if you like to have a seat and say something. I don't know how far this will come. We can even do that way, or you can come here. You're welcome. If you don't feel like coming, you're shy, you cannot get up from your chair, we'll try to bring this to you. Otherwise, what I will be doing is first we're going to go ahead and present some garlands to the Srila Prabhupada disciples. And we don't have enough garlands for everyone, which I would spiritually, maybe mentally, I'm giving you all garlands. But physically, we only have limited. So very senior disciples, we're going to give you garland, we'll give the prasadam garlands from the temple. So before I proceed with the next part, so let's go ahead and Lakshman Prabhu and Arshad Prabhu one at a time, please take some garland. So please, let's go ahead and give garland to Balavadra Prabhu for coming for this program. Let's give him a round of applause. Arshad Bhai will present to Pita Prabhu. Thank you for coming all the way from wherever you are, wherever he lives. Noonan. I have never been to that Noonan place, but I really appreciate it from everywhere you're coming. Hold on, let me call people out. Lakshman, I'm calling and giving an introduction. This is Parampara Prabhu. He is a Srila Prabhupada disciple also. And can I get Sangeeta? Can you come and give the garland to Mother Geeta? Huh? Suvarna Chitra. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, we'd like to give a recognition to the Radhanath Maharaj disciple also. So Lakshman will present the garland to Shyam Prabhu. Let's give him a round of. They are representing Radhanath Maharaj's disciple, and Geeta Mataji is representing Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Let's give them a round of applause. And from age-wise, our senior devotee and senior disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj, let's give that to I call him Mukherjee Bhai. Also, for those who don't know, that's Giri Yadava Das, Radha Giri Yadava Das. He actually, he's my ex-husband. But, you know, he's also a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. And he actually took initiation first from Rameshwar Swami, and then he took re-initiation from Jayapataka Maharaj back in the 86, 87, long time ago. So let's give him also a garland. Lakshman, Giriada. Huh? Yeah. The next one I want to do is our cameraman, Arjun Prabhu. Yeah, Arjun Prabhu. So let's give him a. Mitravinda, can you come and give a garland to Mother Gandhari? Where are you? For the first time, she's on time. Gandhari, get up. Let's give her a garland, please. These are some Mahaprasharam from. Another thing I wanted to tell, where is Akhilatma? Okay, he is the president of Siliguri, I think, right? Alright. I think he particularly came for this program from Siliguri, I'm just kidding. So let's give him a big garland. I wish we had some more garlands because every one of them here. But I want to recognize some devotees here. Jantibai, he has been coming to our temple for the last 35 years. In Atlanta temple, strong supporter. And he wants to take initiation from Jayapataka Maharaj. Let's give him a big round of applause. And, did I forget anyone? And, oh, sorry, Urmila Ben. Let's give her also a big round of applause. Amrit Bhai, he also has been coming to the temple for the last 25-30 years. Let's give a round of applause. And last but not the least, let's give a round of applause to all of you. Because all of you have come here on a rainy day, and thank you so much. So now we are going to begin the program. Let's give all you a round of applause. Thank you so much. Finally. Hello, one more time. Thank you. So before we, first thing I wanted to do is we'll wait for a few more times before I bring the Srila Prabhupada disciples to say something. I know Asmuk Prabhu or Harshad Bhai, he has to go somewhere. Unfortunately, he had forgot.
His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj ki Jai. I'll talk about two pastimes of Maharaj. One was in the late 1980s, my husband was invited to Mayapur because Maharaj wanted to set up an amateur radio station there with a big antenna on top of the building. And at that time, there was a disciple called Radha Charan Prabhu. I don't know where he is now, but he was the one who was coordinating with my husband. And Maharaj met my husband in Mangalarti, and he patted on his back. With that, Hari Bol, how are you, Prabhu? And then he called Radha Charan Prabhu and said, feed him prasadam, a lot of prasadam. And then after the Bhagavatam class, Radha Charan Prabhu took my husband for prasadam, and he went on serving, and Maharaj is looking, put some more, and it became like a big hill of prasadam. And my husband is saying, Maharaj, I cannot eat all. Oh yes, you can eat it, and give him more. And then Maharaj went away, and then my husband is looking at prasadam, and he's looking at Radha Charan Prabhu, and he's looking at prasadam. And he said, but because Maharaj has said, I must eat it. And he said he ate every bit of it. And he did not have a stomach upset the next day. Well, I am very unfortunate because I had only one time that I had association with Maharaj in Atlanta, Panihati. Maharaj had finished a Sunday feast lecture, and he was going towards the Prabhupada quarters to rest, and he was with his servant, and my husband and I, we ran after him and he said, Maharaj, 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 and we paid obeisances, and he immediately turned and said, how can I serve you? And we felt so embarrassed, we want to serve him, but he's asking, how can I serve you? So I said, Maharaj, I just have one question. And because this was the first time I was associating with him, I was very nervous and I forgot my question. So I said, Maharaj, I want to know about Varnashrama. And he looked at me. He said, Varnashrama? That will take a long time to describe. I said, no, sorry Maharaj. I meant Vanaprastha ashram. That was my actual question. So he said, oh sure. But the servant was not very happy because Maharaj was relaxed. He was so compassionate and he started answering. But before answering, he said, you want to know Vanaprastha ashram? I said, yes. He looked at my husband. Do you also want to know? Because it has to be both. One cannot take Vanaprastha. So I was hoping he would say yes, and he said yes. And I said yes. Then Maharaj stood there, and for 30 minutes he explained Vanaprastha ashram. How compassionate. So and I'm very unfortunate. After that, I didn't have any association with him. His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj ki jai.
That was beautiful, Mataji. Shyam Prabhu? Yeah. After that, we'll start getting some senior disciples. Come on. We're just trying to first get all the Prabhupada disciples and then God Brothers disciples.
Hare Krishna. I don't know if I'm qualified to talk with so many seniors over here, but I'll try to just share some of my realization about Acharyapad and one interchange at least that I had with him. I'm actually very thankful to Lakshmana Prabhu. He has always been very kind to my family and he's always been there for us in the sense that recently we went to Mayapur and he put us up in his house, arranged transportation, arranged accommodation in Mayapur, and he brought Maharaj to our house. And we are so grateful to him because my Gaur-Nitai was named by Maharaj, and the day he came to my house, he gave shelter to my wife. And believe it or not, I was probably more happy than she was because I was very inspired by both Jayapataka Maharaj and by Radhanath Maharaj. And the reason I took shelter and initiation from Radhanath Maharaj was that my brother was a long-time disciple of Radhanath Maharaj and he was cultivating me. So that's the reason why I went with Maharaj. But when my wife took shelter of Jayapataka Maharaj, I became his disciple in Lord. Is there any such thing? So I was connected now to both Maharajas who were my inspiration. So I was very happy that day. I was really very happy. Recently I was reading a book on Narottam Das, which was written by a Srila Prabhupada disciple, Sitala Devi Dasi. And some of you who may have read that book, it's an amazing book and a very inspirational book. If you haven't read it, I would recommend everyone to read it. It's so touching and so inspiring. And when I was reading that book, I saw Narottam Das Thakur had association of Srinivasa Acharya and Ramachandra Prabhu and all. And that was considered as the golden era of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He was proclaimed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Before Mahaprabhu left this planet, he proclaimed the arrival of Narottam Das Thakur. So he was like the successor to Mahaprabhu. And he, with Srinivasa Acharya and Ramachandra Prabhu, they were actually transforming villages into Krishna consciousness. And that period was considered as the golden era. It was so beautiful. And I was thinking that it must have been so beautiful to be at that time when Narottam Das Thakur was on the planet. But then I got the realization that we are in a golden era of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Honestly, I got that realization. If you look at Acharya Prabhupada, you look at Raghunath Maharaj, look at what they are doing. They are doing exactly what was going on at that time. They're transforming villages into Krishna consciousness. Maharaj goes to Bangladesh, and this time when I was in Mayapur, I could not believe how many disciples came from Bangladesh. It seems like half of Bangladesh must have been transformed by Maharaj. It seemed to me at least, right? So, we are looking towards the past and thinking that we could have been so much well off. But if we look at the present, we're very fortunate, very fortunate to be here at this time and to have Maharaj as our spiritual master. I hope you'll realize your good fortune, because this is not ordinary. This era is not ordinary. Whenever we will talk about Gaudiya Vaishnavism, we will talk about Narottam Das. But when we talk about the history of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Mayapur and Jayapataka Maharaj has to be in it. It's incomplete without them. As simple as that. This is history that we are seeing being written. It's legendary. Maharaj is legendary. Right? So we must understand the good fortune that we have. One time when I was in the temple and Maharaj was coming from the self-discovery center to the temple, and I was standing outside and Maharaj saw me, right? And he immediately asked the devotee who was pushing his wheelchair to stop. And he called me, and I was wondering that Maharaj calling me. He said, "You're a disciple of Raghunath Swami Maharaj, right?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Don't worry, he's going to take care of you." So compassionate, he stopped just to tell me that. So then I smiled and I told Maharaj, "Maharaj, I know that you're also going to take care of all your disciples and take them back home." And he gave me such a big smile, and then he nodded his head. And I felt so good about it. So, why I'm telling you this is because if you're a disciple of Maharaj, please remember that he has been proclaimed by Prabhupada himself as an associate of Mahaprabhu. No ordinary soul, this is no ordinary soul we're talking about. So, as Narottam Das was proclaimed by Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada proclaimed the position of Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. So all of you who are the disciples of Maharaj, please note that you are very, very fortunate. You have done so much piety to get Maharaj as your spiritual master. Don't lose this good fortune that you have been given. Just if you keep your vows to Maharaj, have no doubts, be sure that Maharaj is taking you back home to Godhead. So please don't spoil your fortune. Please just do this small thing for Maharaj. Please don't let Maharaj down. Please let him help you to go back home, back to Godhead. Thank you so much.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. So in the interest of time, we are going to now move on to first, obviously we cannot get a lot of, all the devotees who want to say something. But we're going to go ahead and get some of the senior disciples of Jayapataka Maharaj who have been here since the 1980s. So I would like to invite all of you at one time here, and then if you guys can please spend some, realizations. There are so many pastimes that you can share with the rest of the disciples who have come later on in Jayapataka Maharaj's life. So I'd like to invite Giryadavadas, Akilatma, Jai Govardhan. I know Arjuna, you want to come here? I think he's shy, so he's here. So Jai Govardhan, Lakshman, you also come here. Please come here. And did I miss any other senior disciples of Jayapataka Maharaj here? Mitravinda? Mitravinda? So these are all initiated, I think, back in... Come on, Jai Govardhan. Oh, okay. Just, I'll start off with Giryadhar.
Mahaguna.
Akilatma is there.
No, he. The
Huh?
headphone.
Okay. Huh?
I don't know his name, headphone. Prabhu?
That's what I said. I'm going to be calling out, so please stay close by here, and then we'll. Okay. Only thing is, just try to give some pastimes because I want to be on time. So.
Okay, I'll speak quickly so I don't get booed off
problem.
stage.
We have another hour.
Jai Shri Acharyapada, I want to wish you happy 70th birthday. As Mahaguna said, I actually was initiated by a previous spiritual master before I met Shri Acharyapada. And he had fallen away and abandoned all his disciples, so I didn't have a very good view about gurus at the time when I came to Atlanta. But I spent, as Parampara was saying, it became like a three-ring circus, like we're all running around helping Acharyapada, all those different activities. So I got to be with them pretty much 24/7, with them all the time, always helping him, always there with them. Even in the afternoon, he'd take a nap on the bed upstairs in the ashram, and I'd be on the floor right next to the bed, taking the nap with him. So I was with him all the time, and then I traveled with him in America, South America, and India. So I got to the point where I realized here's somebody actually, it changed my heart, because my heart was broken from what had happened before. So it changed my heart that here's somebody who's actually sold out serving Guru and Krishna at every moment of his waking moment every day. So that's when I decided to take reinitiation by Sri Acharyapada back in 1990. So I'll speak real quickly. A couple of quick pastimes was, one is in South America, I got real sick traveling with him, and I was sleeping in the brahmachari quarters, and I was really sick, had a fever and everything. And the devotees, after the morning program and the class and everything, they wanted to take Sri Acharyapada to whatever the next activity was. But he insisted, he told me later, he wanted to come and see me. So he actually came against everybody else who was saying, oh, you'll be fine. He wanted to personally come and make sure that I was okay. I was actually doing okay. So he came and he bent down next to me and made sure if I had a fever and I was going to be okay. So he was very personal like that, and he actually cared. Another thing happened in South America. We were flying from one city to another, I don't know. It was a small plane. The whole plane was shaking up and down, and it was really turbulent, and I was getting really nervous, and Srila Acharyapada wasn't bothered at all. So he wanted to have, the devotees had given breakfast for me to serve him. So we pulled down I pulled down the little table. Meanwhile, I'm just so scared and freaked out about all the turbulence, and he's just very relaxed, ready to have his breakfast, and everybody in the plane was terrified about the turbulence. And he was just very calm and cool. So I served him his breakfast and everything, and he ate it, and then I was cleaning up the plates, and then he turned to me, and it was almost childlike. He says, "Okay, now I'm going to serve you." And then he pulled down the little tray for me, and he wanted to serve me, and I don't remember what happened after that, but I think I was fighting it all the way. No, please don't serve me, it's okay. But he was always like that. He was very personable, and he actually really cared. And I would see that with all the disciples and people who come to the temple. He had a very caring, personal touch with everyone. So I just really, in the past year, I'm kind of cleaning up my act. I'm looking for opportunities to serve again. So maybe with all of your association, you can help me find some way that I can serve Srila Charyapada again. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Next is Jagordhan.
He was a Atlanta head pujari before.
Yeah, go ahead, Radha. Go ahead. No, you go after that.
You know, I think falling behind Jerry is, I also, what sticks out to me about Srila Charyapada is his kindness. When I became a devotee, I really felt like I didn't deserve to be a devotee. And he was always so nice to me and encouraging. Several pastimes. I remember one, I'd overslept from Mangalarti, and all of a sudden, while I was sleeping, I caught myself awake on the bed, and I looked up, and a tripod was looking at me, and then he walked out of the room. So I felt like he just was checking on me, and by his mystic power, he was like, "Get up, Jai." It was a real mystical and powerful experience for me. But you know, he's always instructed me. He's always treated me with a lot of respect, and even his instructions have you know, he made, at times he was a little heavy with me, but he always conveyed to me that he loved me and cared about me. So that's something that he touched my heart over and over again like that. I remember one time after I had left, I lived in the temple for 10 years, and I think it was 1996. And I just got married, and I was talking to him on the phone. I think even Balavadra, I think you were there, and you gave the phone to me. You said, talk to your spiritual master. And he asked me what I was doing, and I told him I was working a job, and he said, you know, job's not so good for a second initiated devotee, because you should either do business or do Brahminical activity. And of course, he'd always encouraged me in fruit business. He was always bringing me, can you remember this? He was always bringing me products that other devotees had been selling in other countries. He would bring them, whenever he came to Atlanta, he would give them to me. So anyway, that was a turning point for me, because I was working a job, and I knew, but in my heart I was thinking, okay, I need to do business, prasadam business. And eventually I did. And one other pastime, he came to visit. Pure Bliss is up in Marietta right now, and we'd gotten the place there, but we didn't have anything in there, you know, nothing at all. And we just gotten it. We were about to start, you know, putting equipment and everything in there. We just leased it, and so we were working on getting it ready to use. And he did a before and after picture. He sat down on a sofa like this, and he goes, "Let's get a before and after picture." And so this is before, and the after picture is when you buy Kellogg's. And I remember right after that, I was going to give him a donation, and he said, "Are you sure you want to do that? Maybe you need to keep it for your business." So, thank you.
Akhilatma is also one of the senior disciples.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistarupadaya Samadaya Taka Samantana Namasaya Taki Bhakta Nagaranta Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistarupadaya Samadaya Bhaktivedanta Samantana Namaste Sesha. Just I can remember the interaction took place, a couple of interaction pastimes. While I was in Mayapur, that time, one time Bhakti Pushpa Maharaj told me to go upstairs, Lotus building, because Guru Maharaj, his quarter is this Lotus building rooftop. There's some initiation ceremony going on there in the temple room. So you just go and bring Guru Maharaj because devotees are waiting there. So I just went up there in the Lotus rooftop where Guru Maharaj is staying there. And while I entered into that room, and then Guru Maharaj was seeing me, he was standing and he was sitting and chanting his Gayatri. And I was standing in front of him. And then I didn't even know what to do. So then Guru was saying, why you are standing in front of me while I am chanting my Gayatri? So I should see you or chant my Gayatri or what? So because I didn't understand, where to stand. So I just moved away from that place, and then I was standing and feeling very shy there. And after finishing his Gayatri, Guru Maharaj saying, okay, let's go. Okay, what you are saying? Now, Guru Maharaj, a lot of devotees are waiting to take initiation. So Bhakti Maharaj told me to call you, so that's why I came there. Okay. So then he's just specified me because, he's just asked me. So this one incident happened, and then another time in 2015 while I was he made me the TP there in Siliguri. So many of the devotees was waiting for Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj is so much sick, 2015. So, and Mahabharata was saying, no, Guru Maharaj cannot move anywhere else because he went to Ekachakra Dham, he got sick, so we are in trouble. So there's no close nearby hospital or nursing home, so Guru Maharaj cannot go to Siliguri because the Siliguri is a remote place and there is not, high class kind of hospital or nursing home there. There's no way he cannot go there. So but we requested again and again, and the safari team also, Marichi and that group also, they're supposed to come there. So then I insisted Marichi call Guru Maharaj so that Guru Maharaj can come to our temple, Siliguri. So then the Guru Maharaj saying, no, Mahabharata Prabhu and the doctor, the Radharani Maharaj disciple from Chopati, that's one doctor was supervising Guru Maharaj all the time. He was Guru Maharaj. So then they no, that's no way. So he cannot go there. So, and you want to take the credit that Guru Maharaj is, going to your place. You want to, no, I don't have to take the credit. But a lot of devotees are waiting there. So then Guru Maharaj, no, I'll go to Siliguri. And then he came there to Siliguri in 2015. And he was in a wheelchair and he's showing the different places, because the Siliguri, Guru Maharaj has given the name that place, Gupta Navadip Dham, meaning hidden Navadip Dham. There is 9 islands there. There's Bhuvarha Dev temple there, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman temple there, Jagannath Pradesh Subhadra Maharani there, Simanta Deep. He was just instructing me, this is the deep, this is Simanta Deep, this is Rudra Deep, this is Kula Deep, and then we have our Nishinga Dev temple there, and then Sadasiv temple there. So he is just pointing out, this is this island. So I am thinking, I didn't even put that, I will make and signify there, every island I have to make that kind of point, So I didn't even did that, so maybe later on I'll do that. So every single point, he just explaining to me that this is hidden Navadip Dham, so he should, promote this place and, manifest more even, this new Panyat. Sorry. Gupta Navadip Dham. And one time, so while every time Guru Maharaj visit, USA and so many other places, while he just go to Mayapur, he explained his journey. So he was one time he was saying, about the new Panihari Dham, cheap rice festival and everything, all kind of things he is explaining. And I know that cheap rice festival originally, near close to Calcutta, there is one place, Panihari Dham, this original Panihari Dham. Generally we used to go there. But Guru Maharaj is explaining something where cheap rice festival is taking place there somewhere in the USA, and this is called New Panihari Dham. And he's, explaining so elaborately. And I was, grew some kind of intense desire in my mind silently that maybe I have to go one day to see that New Panihari Dham. So that's happened in my, I didn't say to anyone else that, because by hearing only, I just, grew some kind of desire in my mind. Silently, I didn't even say to anyone else. But that things happened. I was there in New Panihari Dham for 8 years, 2007 to 2015. Then I went back to India. And one last point I wanted to make, that every time Guru Maharaj, whenever instruct his disciple, those who are Prabhupada disciple, through everybody you just respect and worship and give the honor like me. So all the time, even all the Mayapur devotees, those who stay there, my disciple, it's my instructions, those who are disciple of Srila Prabhupada, you should honor them, worship them, and respect them like me. So that we can, remember in our mind. So all the disciples, so we should respect, and those who are Prabhupada disciples, because this is Guru Maharaj's instruction. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Swami Gurumaharaj ki jai. I came to Krishna consciousness in around 1998. So it was in a place called Coimbatore, in South India. And we had a very small temple at that time. So it was like a 3-bedroom apartment that you'll see over here. And it was, Guru Maharaj used to come every year. We just started the Rath Yatra at that time. He would come for the Rath Yatra and he would have some initiations and other things. So I was just a kid out of just going to college, just started going to college at that time. Then I met Guru Maharaj in one of those times after the Rath Yatra. So that time the temple president was Sarvaishwarya Prabhu, so he would introduce all the new devotees to Guru Maharaj and he would talk about them. So he also introduced me that I'm studying engineering and then I'm doing electronics and communication, so he spoke about me. So then Guru Maharaj said, so you're an electronics person, so you should do something about it. You should help it in Krishna's service. So he said that you should create an email for the temple. So those days there was no concept of email was unknown in the whole world. At least in southern India, it was not very popular. So he asked me to go and find out how to create an email for the temple and then create one for the temple. And then I had this wonderful service. So I did that, found out, then go to the BSNL office and open an account and different things. So that was the first service that he gave me. That was, I was very amazed, such a great person he was. I came to know later so many other wonderful pastimes about him. And still he took time to talk to me and inspire me. So I was so impressed with him. And later on, he would guide me in many things in my life, in many turning points. He would help me in deciding my education, deciding my spouse and different things. He was always there personally. Whenever he would come, I would definitely discuss my situation and ask him for personal suggestions. So he was very merciful. He would have a personal time for everyone in spite of his busy schedule when he comes for a couple of days here and there. And so when I moved to Bangalore, then in Bangalore it was like a peak time for there was a Ritvik was going on. And so we had a law office set up in order to fight the court case with the Madhu Pandit and this thing. So it was a very peak time. So I was I got a job in Bangalore, so I was in a Texas Instruments, I was working there. So he was asking me, why don't you help in some setting up some technical things for the law office and things. So that way also was engaging me. I was very happy. And I was seeing during those times that how Guru Maharaj was had to play a dual. He was the GBC in Bangalore and he had to deal with this court cases, but he was also a guru for a disciple gone wayward. So Madhu Pandit. So it was very, I could see that how much he was, although we were going aggressive against him and things like that, he was still very merciful as a guru, and he was always compassionate to see that how we can bring back his disciple. So I heard a lot of different things during the discussions and things. It was very amazing. And he taught me different things about writing emails, writing legal papers, and how it has to be very correct, and even a small mistake can be very costly in different things. So I had a chance to do a lot of personal service to him, and I was very happy to do that. And he showed in many ways. He would answer my question even before asking it. So I was always very wondering, maybe Guru Maharaj is not very, he doesn't see the ingredients and different things. Perhaps when he was traveling, he doesn't look at the food ingredients and things. I had some that he had time to do all that. So but he asked me to see, he took something and then asked me, look at the ingredients and tell me, is this good or not? So then I understood, yeah. So he's answering my question, so he's answering my doubt, so that I shouldn't doubt a serious, wonderful devotee like him, a pure devotee like him. So that way, so many connections. I could feel a Paramatma connection with him, and then I was very inspired with him. And I'm sure my wife also will have a lot of things. She has been practicing devotee from young years, from 5 years, and then she has a lot of more interactions with Guru Maharaj. He used to come into Trichy, and so that's very nice about our interactions. And later I told him my interest to pursue higher studies. So he said, why do you want to do higher studies? Why are you wasting your time in doing higher studies? Then I said, I want to do some scientific preaching. Oh, very nice. Then tell me how you're going to do. And he gave some contacts of devotees. You should talk to them and you should give some guidance. He didn't want me to waste time and do some things in other pursuits. So that was so nice of him. He took a lot of personal time to guide me and inspire me throughout my life, and I'm very grateful. I hope to be a worthy servant of him throughout this life and life after life. And having said that, I want to say two wonderful pastimes that two pastimes about Guru Maharaj that I heard, and very moving pastimes. So one of them is in those days, in maybe 1970s or 80s. So it was in Hyderabad, Namapalli. There was a temple there, and so devotees there, they were just starting with the temple construction or buying a temple land, and they had some issues. So there were some people who were trying to, some miscreants, some local politicians or something, they had some problem there. So something happened, and then the devotees were rounded up and put in a police lockup. So they were locked up in the police station, and then and the devotees are very worried what to do. So because there were so many devotees there, nobody to come and talk to them, and nobody to their support. So they were very worried at that time. So then Guru Maharaj was visiting there. So then he took up the matter to himself, and then he went to the police station. And then he went to the police station. The police inspector knew that, he's a great Westerner. He's coming and he's going to come and talk with me, and he's going to probably push me and pressurize me. But he didn't do any of that. He went to the police station and immediately fell flat at the police inspector. So he was flabbergasted. He didn't know what is happening. In the wildest of his dreams, he never expected that Swami was a Westerner, and he would become so humble, and he would become, and just like Lord Nityananda did. Then he immediately was moved, and then he just released all the devotees. So that was the Guru Maharaj. He knows what to do the best, and he does that at the appropriate times. Such an amazing devotee. And the other one was in Trivandrum. He was giving a class in a temple. He was invited to give a class. So then Kerala is a very orthodox and very traditional place, and that's a birthplace of Shankaracharya also. So a lot of people there are Mayavadis, so or worshippers of Lord Shiva. So they had so when he was giving a class, there was some person who was asking some question. He was saying that the Lord Shiva is the ultimate and he was supreme, and he had some questions. So then I was told that Gurumaharaj, he asked to bring a Bhagavatam book, and then he just opened a page randomly. He just opened the page. Then he read out a place from that purport. He said, from the Padma Purana, he quoted a verse, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param. So then he read out that, and then the man was impressed. How can he do that? So he just opened a book, and then he just read out a verse, and out of nowhere he could quote a verse, and then he could. It was amazing. So that is he didn't even look for the page number or anything. He just opened. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So opened, and then it was there. So that was I just wanted to mention these two parts. And there are many more things I can tell, and I heard from devotees, and I have personal experience, but I would like to probably stop here, and then I would let other devotees speak a few words about their realization. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jayapataka swami niti namane namachari padaya nita kripa padayane gorkata damadori nagara gamantarine. I'll tell, actually, as I'm listening, I'm okay. So many sweet pastimes with Guru Maharaj. I want to start when I was about teen and living in the temple, and Guru Maharaj was here for some days, and one morning I was chanting my japa, and I was chanting very slowly and clearly, very loudly, in hopes that he was hearing me. And he called me over for a little while, back to Melinda. And I went over, and he said, "Why are you chanting so slowly?" And then he said, if you want to chant that slowly, that will be the only service that you have time to offer to Krishna. So he quickly put me in my place on that. He instructed me on halava when I was making halava. When his mother was here, and Mother Lori, I think it was 2000 or 2001, he put her in my care, and that was amazing. I drove her around. I drove her following the Rath Yatra cart. She was tired, and she wanted to leave Rath Yatra instead of staying for the feast and go back to the temple. So I took her back to the temple. I gave her a foot massage. She had a very nice pastimes, but Guru Maharaj came back and he said, where were you? Where were y'all? And I said, well, Mother Lori was tired and she wanted to come back, and he just looked at me. He didn't say anything, but at the same time I didn't feel like he was actually too angry about that. He kindly gave me blessings to conceive Vaishnavas. Anytime I wanted to have a baby, I would ask him for his blessings to bring Vaishnavas into this world, and he kindly did so. He'd listen to our japa, and he would tell you, like I remember him telling me when you say Krishna, you need to say Krishna. More emphasis on the na. So Krishna, Krishna. He was always paying attention. In the past couple of years, in the past year and a half, I started reaching out to him in a lot of distress. And I reached out to him more in the mood of prayer, knowing that as I was writing these letters to him, I knew I would not get a response because he's way too busy and he has many more important things than me in his life. And he would respond within 8 hours, and he became actually very, very involved in our family through email for a while. I remember even one night being very distressed and just sending out, "Please help us." And he sent back, "I'm doing everything I can for you." So just incredibly, amazingly personal, amazingly our Father. There's no other way to say it. And I'm eternally indebted and very ecstatic to be eternally indebted to him. And I have to say, Balavadra Prabhu, when I moved into the temple in '97, the respect that he showed for my Guru Maharaj, and he taught me things that my Guru Maharaj very much lived by, and that was just a beautiful vision to watch how sweetly Balavadra Prabhu would be there serving Jayapataka Maharaj. Anyway, and thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here tonight. Jai Shri Gurudev.
So we have still another 30 more minutes, but what we are going to do is, those who are speaking, I'm just going to have you all continue to speak. And Lakshman Prabhu, can we get the offerings? We're going to put them here. There's that cover, so some people can volunteer to help. Slowly with less noise, if we can get that. And there is a cloth here to cover. And Mother Vallabhi is going to be offering the
Chaitanya's right-hand man in the 21st century. And when I was hearing Parampara and Balavadra Prabhu and other devotees talk about his pastimes at New Panihati Dham, I was realizing how we were actually destined to have this loving, intimate interaction with him all these years, because he is in the mood of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and us being New Panihati Dham, it's a no-brainer that he would wind up being intimately involved and intimately inspiring us and guiding us all of these years. It was him who had started the Panihati festival. We weren't doing it at all, right? No, and he's the one that started it so many years ago, many actually. And we started with just a palanquin going across the street, carrying the deities on a palanquin in the park and circumambulating the temple. Srila Charyadev, who's my spiritual master, had brought Srila Charyapad on board as being co-GBC. And I think it was a trick. Srila Charyadev, I think, was trying to bow out. Maybe he had other things to take care of, so eventually they were double or co-GBC, and then eventually Srila Charyadev left, and then Jayapataka Swami became the presiding guru and GBC, and then he started traveling so much to South America. But we've been given so much special mercy. I personally have been so inspired by him. You know, in Mayapur, you can't get 2 blocks away from him, whereas at New Panihati Dham, you can have this loving interaction with him. And do you remember years ago, he started that prayer book? He's so innovative, like the one devotee said. He started that prayer book where you could be in his diary and he would sign you up. and then you would tell him what prayers you needed answered. Do you remember all of that? I mean, who else is doing that? Only him. And you know, when he started that, devotees didn't have to start with 16 rounds, but they would, I remember Sangeeta, that's how she got started, with just a few rounds a day with him. So he was very innovative like that. And that event when Balavadra, when he left temple presidency, Jayapataka Swami, as he was saying, spoke so fondly of him. And he started his class saying, I'm in denial. I'm in denial. I'm in denial that Balavadra Prabhu won't be temple president. And he said, somehow I would have found a way for the old and new to come together. I'm in denial. I mean, he was, and then after speaking, we were kind of in a half circle. And yeah, he was to our left. And at the end of his class and the others speaking, I don't know if I can talk about it with you. It was so personal, as my husband said. He was sitting there, and after it was done, it was dead silence. And it was as though the floodgates of Lord Chaitanya's, it was just like a river. His heart opened. It was almost like you could visually see it and feel it. And this river of love, it just came like an ocean, like waves, that he was sending directly from his heart to Balavadra Prabhu and myself. And I was just mesmerized. I was fixated on him, and he just swallowed me up with all of his love. And he was sending it to Balavadra. They were like two peas in a pod. They were in charya pod. Two peas in a pod, because their patience and tolerance and their style of working with devotees were just in sync, totally on the same wavelength. So he sent such reciprocating love at the end and on the stage, and I just can't tell you what a feeling. I realized that he was not ordinary. He's just extraordinary, and we are so fortunate, and I personally feel such a sense of gratitude for all the years of reciprocation that he's given to me and Panihati-Dham. You know, he is the mercy guru, and he's the one that decided to have Gaurnitai be in the middle of the altar and Radha Krishna off to the side, because we're named New Panihati-Dham. He made that decision after much contemplation. And it was so appropriate. And I think it really shows, you know, the mercy of our particular temple. It is just a very sweet, sweet mercy temple. And Jayapataka Swami has always reflected that depth of mercy. And it's been a loving exchange with him all these years. Haribo Jai Shri
She has so many customs with Jayapataka Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mother Gandhari. Before we still have a few more minutes, we'll start the Aarti.
I did not know his greatness, but I would just like to relate a few incidents which I have, when I have personally seen him. The first one is, he has this specifically very, I would say, a very special look that he would give to some people. So with his big, beautiful eyes, sometimes he looks at people and it's such a connection when he looks at you. He doesn't even need to talk. So many times he used to do this, especially to my mother. I know she has related to me that, he's looking at me because it'll be such a big audience and then he'll have a direct connection. She'll say that he's looking directly at me and, she used to feel so connected to him. But she was waiting for initiation for a long time because my dad got initiation sometime in '98 and she was waiting for a long time. And of course, when she was ready for initiation, still she was not being approved to go for initiation. So she was waiting still because the temple president did not feel that she was ready. So then when she spoke to Guru Maharaj when he had come for Rath Yatra in Coimbatore in South India, so at that time she spoke to Guru Maharaj and then she said, Guru Maharaj asked her, so when are you going to get initiated? Because she was already under shelter. So then my mother said, Guru Maharaj, at the next nearest opportunity. And then Guru Maharaj said, the next nearest opportunity is tomorrow. And she was completely shocked because, that was one thing that I wanted to relate. And also another incident where he was being specifically merciful to a woman who was selling flowers because she was just going on the road and it was a small crowd in our house. So in the garden we were having a discussion and Guru Maharaj was giving class. So a woman who was selling flowers, she did not even know how to speak to Guru Maharaj. She was speaking in Tamil and Guru Maharaj specifically told, please bring her here. And then he specifically gave her some mercy and then he spoke to her and she was so happy and even the smallest, even the most unrecognized people on the street, he would make them feel important and then call them and then give them his mercy. So he's really, really merciful. I thank Guru Maharaj and I thank Krishna for giving me such a nice person as my guru. I pray for his better health and hope to see him more often and serve him as much as possible. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I want to invite Vallavi. Gone through some health crisis in the last year and she has come out pretty successfully. And so let us give her the blessings of the deities and Guru Maharaj and she will say a few words. Let's give her a shout out. Hari
Hare Krishna everyone. This is very unplanned. I never think of anything before I came here. But I have to thank Mahaguna because when I used to do service at the temple, Mahaguna one day asked me to take shelter of Guru Maharaj. And I was so reluctant because I felt I wasn't good enough to be serving a guru at that time. I do feel that I'm a very insignificant person and I don't know why and for what reason did I get the association of devotees, maybe some good karmas in my past life. And I took shelter and I started chanting and then I eventually took initiation. And again, I have to thank Mahaguna because every year when Guru Maharaj came for Panihati, Mahaguna engaged me in service. And that was the most wonderful service I ever had. I never thought I could feel the way I felt. It's so difficult to explain to someone when you are serving your guru. The interaction you have is not verbal. It's something that comes from within you and it's very hard to explain. My husband and I used to do service, get Guru Maharaj's room ready, and we used to take the devotees out for shopping and got so used to learning all the Indian vegetables that they have in India, obviously. And it was nice. It was tiring, but it was so nice. I never felt anything. And we used to shop for Guru Maharaj bedding. And it was just so nice that the first year when I did that service, when Guru Maharaj left, I just cried and cried and cried because I didn't know why I was crying, but I was just crying. And it was just the attachment that I got at that time. And then ever since then, when Guru Maharaj came for Panihati, I was serving him. And I hope I can serve him one more time because it's just an incredible feeling to serve your Guru. It's something only people that have a Guru will know. and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for having Guru Maharaj, and I'm always praying for Guru Maharaj good health. Thank you.
In 1978, first I came to Mayapur. At that time, Mayapur was no building, nothing there, small little deities in 1 feet, Radha Krishna deities, Radha Mother. And then Guru Maharaj called us. That time my husband was there. Also, so when Guru Maharaj was standing on the Lotus building, and I was standing there, and I am 70 years old this year, and same age. And I see Guru Maharaj is so beautiful, handsome man. With blue eye, I was so attracted to Guru Maharaj that time. And not Krishna, Radha Krishna, such Guru Maharaj. Oh my God, so beautiful. So that time we are leaving, Guru Maharaj said, no, you take rest all the day, rest and take the prasad, and then you can go. Come back again. And I said, yes, for you. So then after that, the face is calling me all the time. And we are family that time, we know the Mayapur, they are like a CIA agent, all those things. So we have a family, they won't let me to go, but I used to go after that to Calcutta temple, to all this, and I still remember that face. And so handsome, I never saw that handsome face. Like, I can't tell, now he is my father. And that face, that thing, his Guru Maharaj put me in Iskcon. He gave me shelter. Actually, I was associated with Bhakti Maharaj at that time. But then I came Mayapur, Bhakti Maharaj brought us there. I saw Guru Maharaj, I said, no, I'm going to Guru Maharaj again. So then when I changed Bhakti Maharaj, I wrote him, I'm sorry, we are taking initiation from Bhakti Maharaj, from my Guru Maharaj, H.G. He said, okay, go ahead. And this is the way we joined Iskcon, and this is the way we are today in Guru Maharaj. And I remember, I went Mayapur one time, stayed a few days, then I had to do the office work at Guru Maharaj office, translating all the letter to Bengali to English, and I was cooking for Guru Maharaj also. So every day morning, I was bringing Rajpur, Rasmalai, all those things from Mahaprasad. Then I realized not good for Guru Maharaj, every day eating Rasmalai, all those things. So I not bought that day. And then he ate all my cooking, everything, then he said, Mom, where's my Rasmalai? I said, sorry Guru Maharaj, tomorrow I'll bring. Then next day I bought the Rasmalai and everything. After eating, he said, give me that Rasmalai first. Then he said, I am very happy with, told my son, he said, tell your mother, I am very pleased with her, I am very happy, and I am blessing her. So after that, what happened, I am going through for a few years, 2 years, all that my health issue, all those things, and I thought, I cannot wait anymore, so much pain, so much surgery, all those things. Then I realized how Guru Maharaj is doing it. So much suffering, so much thing, and with that she is telling me, never give up. I said, I never give up. So that is my Guru Maharaj. And that is my first, my dream person, dream man.
Related pastime that maybe you hadn't heard before, and I took initiation June 4th, 2011. In November of that year, my mom left her body, and with Lakshman Ramprabhu's help, I was able to get a flight, and I took my mom's ashes over to Mayapur. And many of you know Madhavi Kirti, who used to be at the Atlanta temple. She's been living in Mayapur for many years. Well, she met me over there. And it was a whirlwind trip because I got over there early on a Saturday morning. I was leaving Monday morning to come home. It was really just to do the ceremony. And she takes me, she says, look, there's Guru Maharaj, come on, we'll go. She's like dragging me. I'm like, Guru Maharaj in here. I've just taken initiation 4 months before. I'm still, like all nervous about being around him. And she told me, said, Guru Maharaj, Shanti, her mother left her body, she brought the ashes. And Guru Maharaj said, your mother was a devotee. I said, no, she visited the temple many times. She's very fond of Balavadra, prabhu, and she told me that she would like me to do this for her. And he said, there's a very good chance that she will go back to the spiritual world because you are doing this. And then he took off one of his garlands and put it around my neck.
Anybody who was at my home program recently, it still hangs there. It was all brown and dried out, but it's on the wall in my house because that will not come down. The last night that we were there, this was the weekend your brother was getting married, Prabhu. Yeah. And we were at the wedding, and there was a lull in the ceremonies, and Madhvikirti says, Shanti, Guru Maharaj is speaking at the temple, you go now. So I ran from where we were, and I go to the temple, and I get over there, and it was really, they were giving out awards for disciples who had completed some courses, so it really wasn't a lecture. But then Guru Maharaj was giving out samosas, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm not going to leave until I get a samosa. And but I thought there's so many people, I'm never going to get a chance to speak to him or say anything. But I stayed and I stayed and I stayed. Sure enough, I ended up right in front of Guru Maharaj, and I said, Guru Maharaj, we had a wonderful ceremony yesterday for my mother. Prabhu himself oversaw it to make sure that everything went okay. And I leave tomorrow morning to go back, and thank you so much. And he looked at me, and every disciple wants to hear this from their Guru Maharaj, and I got to hear him say, this makes me very happy. So that was Guru Maharaj for the most fallen disciple that he's ever taken on, me. I'm very, very grateful, always will be, to have him as my spiritual father. Jai Guru Maharaj.
Does anybody else, one chance, anyone want to come and say anything? Anybody? Any want to say something? Just another 1 to 2 minutes, and then I want to start, make sure we start the Arati on time, and then we'll serve our prasadam.
Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It is Guru Maharaj's mercy to me and my family that he was able to come to my house and bless my new house in 1997 when he came. And I want to thank him for that. And not only that, Guru Maharaj was very instrumental in my life. I didn't take initiation as of today, but I wanted to take 2 years ago when he came, but lucky I was not able to go in front of him. And nobody, because somebody had to sponsor you to go there, otherwise you cannot become a disciple of him. So I missed that opportunity, and I'm praying that now Guru Maharaj is in good shape. One day I will get his initiation. When he came last time, he said, you got to become an initiated devotee. And I keep telling Maharaj, I have never chanted 60 rounds. And I don't want to tell you that make me initiated devotee, because I have not done it. He said, I'm going to give you shelter. Just chant 4 rounds. And he still did it for me, and I want to thank him for at least giving me that blessing that I can become a devotee. One of the commitments I made it when Maharaj was there in 1982-83. One of my questions to Maharaj was, Maharaj, we don't know nothing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Mahaprabhu, and why we don't have a Krishna and Radha Krishna here in this temple. I missed that. Is there any way you could do something that we can bring Radha Krishna? So he said, yes, it can be done. He told me. So I said, what can I do to get the Radha and Krishna in the temple? He said, I'll tell you, if you guys can raise some money. So I asked them, Maharaj, how much money you think you needed to bring Radha Krishna in the temple? He said, $12,000. Right there, that day, I had the Vittal by Patel, myself, and Somraj Sharma. So I asked them, hey, if we can bring $4,000, we can tell Maharaj right away that bring Radha Krishna. Within 2 days, we told Maharaj that yes, go ahead and we'll bring $12,000. And right there, and Maharaj, I told Maharaj, is there any way possible Radha Krishna can come in the center and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can go on the side? the temple, and finally he came up with the decision that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Mahaprabhu will stay in the middle because this is Panihati Dham, and I was happy for that also. Very well. I want to thank you. I want Maharaj to recover very fast so Maharaj can be again same as like before what I have seen it in the beginning. Thank you.
First of all, thank you to every one of you who have come here today. I know the weather was not the best of all. I wish we had the weather nice. We could have served outside. But I really, on behalf of the disciples and Lakshmana Maharaj, and Arshad Bhai left, Ashmukh left, and on all the disciples, want to thank you very much for coming and sharing all your beautiful realizations and your personal stories. So we're going to go ahead and start the Artik, and you all can just stand up. And then right after the Artik, we're going to do Narshinga prayers. So please know that for Narshinga prayers, we need to get the protection of Guru, for the Guru as well as all the devotees. And then the Prasadam, once again, before you all go, the Prasadam will be served over there. We'll get that all ready and set up. We also have
Hare
Do not waste, please take back anything is leftovers. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.